I get asked this question all the time. People want to know, is it better to pay off all of your debt and focus on being debt free before buying a home, or should you be saving and building a down payment to be as much as possible? Well, we're going to talk about that. Should you save money or pay off debt? Let's just start off by saying both of them are extremely important financial goals. Whether you're buying a home or not, you should want to be debt free and you should want to have a nice savings account. But they're important steps to even a much bigger life goal, and that is retirement and also living well now and having peace of mind, because nobody wants to be in debt. It's very stressful. So, my opinion and what I tell my clients is to take a very blended approach. Try to accomplish both at the same time. But your ability to do that is really predicated on your own personal circumstances. So you have to do a personal assessment. You have to ask yourself, first of all, do I have any expendable cash to put toward paying off debt or savings after all of my mundane expenses and debts are paid for? And mundane meaning your health insurance and your car, your automobile insurance, your living expenses, your utilities, your daycare, things like that that are not going to go anywhere. You have to pay those. So we'll talk first about paying debt and skipping foregoing savings entirely. Well, obviously, the biggest reason that that's a challenge is when there is an emergency, you have nothing to fall back on except the credit cards. So it's like you're in a vicious cycle. You're fighting a battle of trying to get debt free while you're adding more debt. So you at least want to have an emergency fund for those inevitable things that come up, like your car breaking down, things that we know are going to happen unexpectedly. We'll talk more about an emergency fund in just a second. But when is it good to put debt first before savings? One of the biggest problems with credit card debt specifically is that the interest rates are so high. And when I say high, we're talking like 20, 25, sometimes 29%. That is when you need to put debt first, because when you're saving money in a traditional financial institution like a Bank of America or a Chase Bank, you're only going to get about 1 or 2%, even on a CD. So when you compare that interest that you're gaining by having a savings account to the interest that you're spending by having these high credit card debts, it becomes a no-brainer. You really want to get those down because you're not really making any headway saving when you're paying out that much interest. Now, if you're able to transfer those to 0% interest rate credit cards with short-term repayment plans, that's a different story. And we'll chat a little bit more about that in a second. It is best to save first, like I was saying, when the interest rates are low on your credit card. So if you can refinance those cards or transfer them over into 0% interest rates, perfect, do that. And then you can save at the same time and you don't feel like you're getting behind with interest and that it's not making sense. And it gives you the opportunity to at least jumpstart that emergency fund that we talked about. Now, an emergency fund, if you talk to financial experts, they're always going to tell you that it should be 6 months of your income, which, that's a lot of money. So that's the ultimate goal, but how do you achieve it and make little baby steps toward it? Why don't you start by just saying, let me save $1,000 at a time? And that may start off with doing $100 a month times 12 months is $1,200. And you can achieve that by setting up a savings account through your bank that you have your checking account through and have them do automatic deductions every single month. And you just don't put your hands on it or touch it. It just goes automatically, the same as you would if you auto pay a bill. And the next thing you know, $100 a month leads to $1,200 a year. So you can start off with small amounts like that. You can even do, they have a lot of investment apps and phone apps that do savings, such as Acorn. That's one that I swear by. I love Acorn. I use that and I play around with it and invest in different stocks, and it allows you to set the settings on the app to moderate or aggressive or conservative, depending on what your risk tolerance is. So those are all good. But those are some hints and helpful tips that you can implement. But the whole thing is start somewhere. If you need any advice or if you want me to evaluate your personal circumstances and give you an assessment, feel free to call me anytime. I would love to help you. And even if you're not in the market to purchase a home today, I can put you in line so that you will be ready in the next year or maybe 2 years or even 3. I've had plenty of clients that I've worked with, even up to 5 years, to get them ready to purchase a home. Okay, so there's no time that I would consider too long when you have a wonderful goal in mind of being a homeowner. I hope this helps. Take care.